They set fire to my father. I spent 6 years becoming their consequence. They burned my dad alive in the place he loved most, the workshop he built with his own hands, the one that smelled like cedar and sawdust and safety. They said it was a prank, a small fire that got out of control, but they poured accelerant on the walls and laughed as they ran. I watched the security footage frame by frame. There were 5 figures in hoodies, one of them with my dad's favorite shop cat running between their feet. They didn't know he was sleeping inside, or maybe they didn't care. All I know is the fire took him, and the police took statements, and nothing else moved. No charges, no names, no justice, just condolences from the town that used to wave at him while he cleaned their gutters for free. That's when I started watching them. The 5 boys who thought they got away with murder. I memorized their schedules, followed their social media, made burner accounts to bait them into talking. I didn't eat much, didn't sleep, just planned. I wasn't some vigilante genius. I was a son with nothing left to lose. So I started small, exposing their actions, tagging them in anonymous posts. One of them lost his job, another got dumped. Then I got bolder. I vandalized their car, let air out of tires, followed one into the woods during a party, and told him, through a mask. He screamed when the fire touched him. He quit school 2 weeks later. I was spiraling, and it felt righteous. But then there was Liam, the youngest. I had his name last. I only saw one photo of him on the edge of the group, looking scared, like he was about to bolt. He hadn't posted since the fire. I found out he was 16 at the time. They'd made him come along to prove himself. I still followed him. I had to. I told myself being scared didn't make him innocent. I showed up outside his job. I dropped a burnt matchstick in his locker. But he didn't break like the others. He looked hollow already. One day I found him sitting at the town overlook, and as soon as he saw me, he said, "I didn't light it." I begged them to stop. I never wanted to be there. I went home that night and threw up. It was the first time I'd cried since the fire. I couldn't breathe. I'd wanted justice, but what I got was a 16-year-old who flinched at shadows and carried a guilt that was probably heavier than mine. I didn't sleep that night. I went back to that overlook the next day, but he wasn't there. I checked again, and the 4th time, I saw him lying there, unmoving. There were flowers and a note tucked under a rock, his handwriting, apologizing to my dad, saying he couldn't carry it anymore. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't gotten there when I did, but he was still breathing, just barely. I called it in, stayed with him until the ambulance and police came, didn't say a word, and when they asked what happened, I just said he needed help. They never knew it was me who stalked him, or pushed him that far, but I knew, and I couldn't outrun it. I confessed 2 weeks later, to everything, the harassment, the stalking, the damage. I told them I just wanted someone to feel what I felt, that I didn't mean to break him, I just didn't know how else to survive what they did to my dad. The others eventually got expelled, a few charges stuck, but none of it felt like peace. Liam made it, but he hasn't spoken to me since. I still see him sometimes. People call me brave for turning myself in, but I wasn't brave. I was broken, and maybe still am.